Wholesalers have been around for some time, but what does it mean and how do they do it? Well, the short definition is an entity or an individual that identifies distressed property, they place it under contract, and then find an end buyer. Wholesalers do a lot to find those distressed properties. They call, they text, they send out thousands of mailers, they may place an ad, 800 numbers. They're doing a lot to find the property owners of these distressed properties. Distressed properties could be foreclosure or pre-foreclosure property in an estate or a trust. And once they've identified that property with all the work that they've done, now they're going to sell it. Well, here is kind of where it gets a little tricky. In the past, wholesalers would add maybe a couple $1,000s to the price of the property. And they would keep their pipeline full of properties as well as end buyers or investors. We have so many classes now, and our eager beavers have come along and they're adding $10,000 and $20,000 to the price of the property or more. And so in some cases, the wholesaler is making as much as the investor, the person that's putting the money into the house to renovate it and then sell it. Now, the reason that investors are paying the prices is because there are so many investors and fewer properties, right? So everything is supply and demand. So if I have more investors than properties, as long as there is enough money for me to make after I've put money in it to renovate it, then I may be willing to pay that higher price. So that's where things have gotten a little murky in this world of wholesaling. Now this is where I get to officially whine, wah, 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 wah. Because not only do I have a bachelor's degree, but I went through the 75-hour coursework that's required to be an agent. I went through the 60-hour coursework that's required to be a broker. I abide by the 36 hours of continuing education that's required every 4 years to maintain my license. But yet, as a wholesaler, I could pick you up off the street, or I can say, hey, you're watching this video, come on over here. Let me get you trained to be a wholesaler. It isn't regulated. There's no certification that's needed. There's no licensing that's needed in the state of Georgia. Can't speak for all of our states. But, now I've put you in a position to be a wholesaler, and it isn't mandated. So we have many examples of this going on in society. We had the example when copper pipes were being stolen, or copper period were being stolen from vacant properties. And so when there was a mandate, a regulation, something in place that said, hey, we're monitoring the sales of copper, once that was done, it ended, right? And we're going through that with the vaping industry. It's not regulated. So things go awry, unfortunately, when it's not regulated. So danger, danger, dangerous. But I don't want you to think that this is a wholesaler bashing video. It's not. Do I love my wholesalers? Absolutely. Do I think there needs to be some kind of regulation? Absolutely. And the other reason why it doesn't exist is because, remember, there isn't any monies being exchanged. The wholesaler is identifying the property, they're getting it under contract, they're finding an end buyer, they're increasing the price for the end buyer. No money, no lender, no mandate, no regulation. So although I don't give a solution, I at least explain the process of wholesaling. I got to whine just a little bit, which is so against my nature. And hopefully you are much more informed and you understand the process. And I am encouraging you to get proper training, whether you are the wholesaler or the investor. And I guess it's to be continued. We just don't know how this will end. But happy wholesaling, and thank you for attending our Wealth Wednesday.